Hello viewers, welcome to this lesson. Today we are going to learn about what is news and what make news even. In our lesson today we are going to focus first on what is news. News can be defined as anything new coming from south, east, west, north, delivered in a timely fashion. And we're gonna focus on criteria of news. We said the criteria of news by which we judge what is news. These are: 1. Is it new? Is it unusual? Is it interesting or significant? Is it about people? These elements makes up what we call the news value of information. The stronger the elements are, the higher the news value is. Is it new? It is not new. It cannot be news. The assassination of Mr. Gandhi is unusual, interesting, significant, and about people, but it cannot possibly be reported in tomorrow's paper because it is not new. Unless if there are some new features about the assassination of Mr. Gandhi, that's when we will now judge it as news. And when we talk of is it usual? Is it unusual? Things are happening all the time, but not all of them are news, even when they are new. A man wakes up, eats breakfast, and goes to work on a bus. It has only just happened, but nobody wants to read about it because it is not unusual. Ordinary and everyday things do not make news. Of course, if that same man was 90 years or above, 90 years old, and was still catching the bus to work every day, it would be unusual. The classical example of usual and unusual things is dog bites a man is not news. Man bites dog is news. The definition though is not universal. If dogs are eaten in your society as feast, for instance, then it will not be news when a man bites a dog, so long as it has been cooked. What is usual in one society may be unusual in another again. We will expect the content of the news to vary from society to society. In every society though, whatever is unusual is likely to be news. Another criteria of how we judge news is it interesting? Events which are new and unusual may still not be of general interest. Scientists may report that an insect has just been found living on a plant which it did not previously inhabit. The discovery is new and the event is unusual, but it is unlikely to interest anybody other than a specialist or enthusiast. In a special publication, this could be big news, but in general news broadcasts or paper, it would merit at the most a few words. Another criteria is it significant? However, if that same insect was one which had a huge appetite and which had previously lived on and eaten bush grass, and if the new plant on which it had been found was rice, then the story becomes news because it is significant. People may not be interested in bugs, but they are interested in food. If this insect is now threatening the crops, it becomes a matter of concern to them. It is news because it is significant. Similarly, if a peasant farmer says that the Roman Catholic Church should ordain women priests, that is not news. If an archbishop says it is news because what he says on the subject is significant. It is views of people such as the archbishop which help to form the policy of the church. Once again, what is interesting or significant in one society may not be interesting or significant in another. The content of news may be different therefore in different societies, but the way it is identified will be the same. Is it about people? This is the most important criteria of news. Most news is automatically about people because it is the things people do to change the world which make news. However, news can also be made by non-human sources such as cyclone, a bushfire, a drought, a volcanic eruption, or an earthquake. It is when reporting these stories that it is important to make sure that the story is centered on people. The cyclone would not matter if it blew itself out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, away from any inhabited islands. The fire could burn for as long as it likes in bush where nobody lives. The Sahara Desert has a near permanent drought, but in most of it nobody is there to rely on rains. A volcanic eruption or an earthquake which damages nobody's property and injures us nobody is really not news. All these natural disasters only becomes news when they affect people's lives. Every story can be told in terms of people. Always start by asking yourself the question, how does this affect my readers, listeners, or viewers' lives? Thanks for listening, and we will give you more news updates, and we are going to continue with the trainings for quite some times until we all learn. And as we said, it's a learning platform. All of us are going to benefit from these lessons, and if you have any insights also, I will be able to learn from you. Thank you very much.